Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers best bet or daily package for only $2.
Hey guys, welcome in and a very happy Wednesday to you as the NBA trying to get through the next 2 weeks or so. That would mean the regular season is over. We'll have a little play-in action, and then, of course, the road to a championship will begin. So much to be determined here over the next 10 days or so. Important games coming up. We got a few of them tonight on a loaded card, including some injury updates we'll get you caught up with, and we'll do it with three of the finest at WagerTalk.com. As the A team has shown up, Tony Finn, never mind. The A- team is here, Tony Mejia and Steve Merrill, but our good friend Tony Finn stepping on for us here today, right in the middle square there. He is ready to rock and roll here tonight. And Tony Mejia, I know you are locked and loaded, man, as we get ready for a big Sweet 16 over the next couple of days. Plenty to be decided in the association. What do you got for us here tonight?
Yeah, 11 games on the card. Still a lot of guys questionable, and so most of my action will get in later on in the next few hours. But I've got something up already, a couple plays cooking, and a college basketball package as well, with action tipping off in that CBI final at the top of this next hour. So love to see the wall-to-wall hoops. Happy to be back on the East Coast and ready to go.
Yep, ready to rock and roll here, Tony Finn. I know you're ready to go here tonight, man. You got Denver Nuggets, I believe, certainly on the show yesterday. You stuck it to Ski and Rob Vino. Congratulations. Talk to me here about what you got tonight for us.
I do. I actually have one college game too from the NIT. It's a 5% play. I like one of those. One of the NIT events, and you can get it only at WagerTalk, 5%. Big ticket play in the NBA. I have taken 5 positions as a big card, 5 positions in 4 games. So 2 different positions in one game, and in total, and they're all game positions. And I have 1 player prop, which I'm just going to go ahead. It's going to be included in my pick pack in the all access. So I'll give it to you. It's part of my best bet for tonight, so I'll share it with everybody.
Awesome. Love it. All right. And Steve Merrill, I know you've been locked and loaded, Sweet 16, man. You ready to go. As soon as that card came out, you were ready to rock. But talk to me in the NBA. You got anything locked and loaded tonight?
Yeah, I mean, NBA's been very good. We all talk about how great college has been. The 2 years since I joined the site, #1 in college sides the last 2 years. But what people don't realize is that I'm #1 in NBA sides the last 10 months, 110 units won the past 10 and a half months in the NBA on NBA sides. 101 and 66 is the record. And I bring that up because I do have a strong side selection tonight for Wednesday in the NBA. And like you said, Joe, I was looking at the bit, chomping at the bit, looking at my chops, whatever the term is, to get ready for Sweet 16. And I was hoping to get the matchup. I won it last weekend, and the 2 teams won that I wanted to get this matchup. It's my first 5% best bet of the tournament. I believe it's only my second college 5%er all year. I think I had won like a month ago on that $2 Tuesday play. I believe this is only the second one I've all season. As you can tell, I don't pay attention to the 5% stuff. There are 4% best bets. When I see one that's really strong, I make it a 5%er. I know this is the first one I've had in the tournament. I believe it's only the second one I've had in over a year in college hoops. That's how rare there are. And it's ready right now. And I've got a 3-pack also for Thursday in the NCAA. I love the Sweet 16. I'm going to cash in big. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, guys, take advantage. Now is the time. A lot of opportunities to make it a very, very profitable March right now over at WagerTalk.com. We are going to start here, of course, with our contrarian play of the day. And the Chicago Bulls were as bad as everyone said they would be yesterday on the show, and they proved to be it. So contrarian gods didn't get the Bulls, but will they get it tonight? with the Golden State Warriors, who are actually just down the road from me here, getting ready to take on the Miami Heat. Now, this line has been everywhere. It opened up somewhere around that 8 mark overnight. It was bet down. The money started coming in on the Warriors, 6.5 in the AM this morning, and now news comes down that in all likelihood here, no Klay Thompson, no Draymond Green. Of course, we already knew Steph Curry was out. And now we've got as high as 10 just a few minutes ago, 9.5 starting to pop around. So I think we have figured out the line in the sand here for the betting majority here, Tony Mejia. But what do you think? Warriors, double digits, 10, 9.5. Contrarian gods say this is exactly what the Sixers were all about on Monday, wasn't it?
It was, but at the same time, I think the fact that the Sixers were able to pull that surprise puts the Heat in a good spot, depending on whether Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero will play tonight. And it's a spot where you didn't expect the Miami Heat to lack focus and mess around with the Sixers for 3 quarters and then get put away by the Tyrese Maxey show late. That's exactly what happened. And as far as Golden State goes, no surprise that Steve Kerr's resting all his regulars. In this one, it's a tricky thing. They said before this road trip that they weren't going to do anything stupid to try to get up to the number 2 seed, that they were fine with the 3 seed. That tells me that later on this trip, they've got to make a decision on the back-to-back with Washington and Memphis. Obviously, that Memphis game is huge, so maybe a lot of guys sit against Washington. Obviously, everybody that can play will against Atlanta. But, this one is a potential spot where they pull the plug early because Jordan Poole seemed to get banged up in Orlando last night. So we'll see what he's got in this one. He's obviously going to be the primary catalyst if he can go. Again, I looked at this as a really big play before, Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler are both realistically questionable for this game. Now we'll see if they play in the next few hours. And then it would be a Heat-focused spot considering how shorthanded Golden State is going to be on the road.
Yeah, listen, Miami at home have been pretty darn good here. The Golden State Warriors on the road, not so good there, Tony Finn. So what do you do here tonight? Contrarian gods think we're getting a little crazy here, a little out of hand, just like the Sixers on Monday. Do you agree?
Well, it's going to be pretty tough. If Miami had not embarrassed themselves a couple nights ago in Philadelphia, right? Maybe they would although they're not in the same situation as the Suns, for instance, tonight, I like the Suns. Listen, they've learned how to play without Chris Paul, but they're not playing for anything. If Miami kind of was in that situation where they weren't playing with anything, then I would say, listen, I think absolutely, let's fire away on these young guns from Golden State who are going to, be playing pretty loose. And nobody's put a gun to their head and said, you guys have got to come through. We've got to win this game. That's just not what it is. And in truth, if the Miami is at full strength, and they could be at full strength, save some complementary pieces, they're quite capable of just shutting down these young players for Golden State. I'd have to be on Miami, Joe. I'm sorry, I can't. Yesterday I tried for you with the Bulls. We were done by the end of the first quarter, so I'm a non-contrarian player tonight.
All right, he's back in Miami, and I get it. It's but again, Steve, there was how much effort is Miami if they pull ahead in the first half? How much effort is Miami really going to put to beat a second team in the second half? So anytime we get close to double digits, the contrarian gods always feel like that back door is open. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a couple angles that have worked really well the last couple of years in the NBA. First of all, it's playing the contrarian play on the show, right? So fading the contrarian play is not a long-term winner. And the other thing is playing against these teams with the inflated line and all the key players out has also not been a moneymaker. In fact, if you've blindly played on these ugly ducklings, these shorthanded teams with the extra 2 or 3 baskets, you've made money the last couple of years. And I mentioned earlier today on WagerTalk today, I used, the Sixers -7 is my big game breakdown. I said tune in at 4:30 Eastern to see the injury report because LeBron is questionable. That line is now 9.5. kind of like it less at 9.5 because now I'm afraid Philly might overlook the Lakers, right? And that's often what happens. It's not that the other team steps up because, first of all, they do. These are all college all-stars. And like Tony Finn said, these guys can still score. It's their chance to make a name for themselves. But the other reason that these teams often cover without their key players is because the other team overlooks them. And I don't think, as Tony Mejia said, that'll be the case tonight with Miami because they're coming off the exact opposite of that situation against Philly 2 nights ago on Monday, in which they overlooked Philadelphia without James Harden and lost outright as an 8-point favorite. So I think that keeps the Heat focused here. And I just don't know if the Warriors have the guns. But as you know, Joe, I refuse to be a Swiss miss on this show.
Yes.
So I'm going to look at the total here instead. And I think the over is worth a look. First of all, as I said, these guys are all college all-stars still. It's their chance to audition. And the way you make the NBA isn't by playing defense. It's by putting up some points. So I think Golden State will score some here. I think Miami will as well. And let's look at the adjusted line value here. This line, open -8, was as low as 5.5 last night, and now it's up to about 9.5, even 10. The total, though, opened 218 yesterday. Now it's 209. So I think that's an overreaction. I think these teams can get over the totals. So I'll stay off the contrarian side, but I'll look at over 209.
All right. Do have a little play there going on. The Warriors now, I believe, what is this, third game in 4 nights? The contrarian gods say don't fall for it. Be very careful just blindly laying points. They're going to take them 9.5 with the Warriors tonight in Miami. And some interesting games on the board, including our featured matchup here tonight. Should be a good one, although one big name will be missing here as the Brooklyn Nets will travel to Memphis to take on the Grizz. No Ja Morant in this one, but Kyrie steps up for the first time in a couple of games here now. The Brooklyn Nets are now I believe, a 1-point dog here. It's kind of been back and forth all morning long, and 236.5 was that opening total. That's kind of creeped up here a little bit, 237.5. What do you do here, Steve Merrill? Brooklyn, Memphis, no Morant. You can't just blindly go the other way, or can you?
Yeah, as you said, Memphis now the 1-point home dog. They opened as about a 1.5, 2-point favorite yesterday, and we even saw them as much as a 3-point dog earlier today. Now they're a 1-point dog. So, like you said, Joe, this line's been going back and forth and jumping around. Very high total, 238 is the current number. Look, the first thing that jumps out to me is the advantage Brooklyn because they're not playing at home, right? I mean, it's the only team in history that doesn't want home court advantage come NBA playoff time because there's no Kyrie. So I think this is a spot for the Nets in which they will not overlook a Memphis team, which they might normally overlook. They're 5-1 straight up their last 6. They continue to win on the road, and I think Brooklyn realizes they got to continue to win on the road since they're at a disadvantage at home. Two teams playing excellent basketball right now, but I'll side with the current favorite, and that's Brooklyn -1, although by tip-off it might be the other way around.
Mejia, can you get in front of this? Kyrie seems a little pissed off these days and taking it out on everybody here. No Morant. I get the overplay here and the market siding that way, but I don't know here. Do you trust Brooklyn to go into Memphis and handle business, or is it Memphis for you?
No, they definitely need the game a little more, so you like that. I see ones across the board with Brooklyn as the favorite now, so it does seem like the bettors are going with the Nets and their need for urgency and the fact that maybe they just got the memo that Ja won't play. But look, the Grizz can win without Ja Morant, and this is going to be an interesting test for their defense because Dylan Brooks just came back. He's an excellent defender. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a tremendous shot blocker, and he'll likely be ISO'd against Kevin Durant, and which should be very interesting. So I kind of like the under in this game. But, I mean, you mentioned Kyrie not being in a good mood. Kyrie also gets the benefit of sitting out a week in between games, and with fresh legs, he's coming out here against guys that have been playing the whole season and just absolutely cooking them. So, I mean, this is a pass on the side for me in terms of betting. I'm definitely curious to see what happens in this game because we're getting very close to the playoffs, and these are players in their respective conferences. So the under is my play on this game. It might not make my client board, but that would be my lean for the show.
Does certainly appear a tremendous percentage of tickets being written here on the Nets, Tony Finn. What do you think here? A little too public for your taste, or minus a Ja Morant. You like Memphis to get it done at home?
No, I like. Listen, I think you remember last week or the week before when Durant went in and Durant and Irving went into Boston, and we're basically in a position where, listen, we've got to win. Every game is a must-win for us because of the situation they were in with Durant. When Durant went down for that month, they were pretty dismal, and I can't support them at home, although they did have a nice win last time they were at home. Now they're on the road. This is where I can support them. They've been really good on the road. There's not a lot of holes. When Irving's shooting and playing as well as he's playing in combination with Durant's mid-range jumper, it's a sight to behold. Actually, that was it's going to be fun to watch this game. And as good as Memphis has been without Morant, what are they, 14-2? Did they go 14-2 without Morant? Is that about what it was? I didn't. As Steve said it, I apologize, I didn't hear it. But there's some caveats to that 14-2. If you go to if you go and do the formulas that it takes to go a net rating and certain lineups, you can get those at cleaningtheglass.com, for instance. Without Morant and substituting who they typically will throw in the two backcourts they'll put together there, there's not much difference in net rating, guys. There's just not that much difference. So it actually gets a little bit better defensively, and that's really where they've made their hay after a slow start this season. When we on this show, I said, man, this team's a fraud. They can't defend anybody. They can't stop anybody, right? Well, it got better. They got healthy. It got better. I still don't think they're a very capable playoff team because you can't depend on this team to come from behind. They've done some, but they don't shoot the three. They don't shoot it because they don't shoot it very well. So I'm all over. As I've said, it's almost a blind push across the sportsbook counter. I'm in on the Nets anytime they're on the road. Obviously, as long as they're not going to be, raping us with the handicap. So give me the Nets. Easy money here.
All right. It's a blind push across the window there. Nets on the road. It is for Tony Finn. All right, guys, let's take a look at the total here tonight in our overtime segment. And how this is not 240 is beyond me, but here we are with the Phoenix Suns taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. 236. That's been pushed up 238.5 in a number of spots right now. And we get it. These are two teams here that certainly are capable of dropping anywhere near 260. What do you think we get here, Mejia, tonight, though? Do you think we're in the 240s with these two teams?
Well, I'm looking. Let me finish looking. If it closes over 238, it would be the highest total on a Phoenix Suns game all season. And just replacing the recent 129-112 win that did get over at Houston on March 16th. So you've got Devin Booker sending out that MVP tweet, which was fun. And he's absolutely right. He's like, hey, I'm a leading scorer on the best team, and Chris Paul's out, and no respect. And they've won 5 straight, and they're doing it with Cameron Johnson, too, which is really impressive. I think we do get Karl Anthony Towns in this game. Anthony Edwards said the other day, I don't understand why he's not at full throttle all the time, because when he is, he's unstoppable. And you kind of see that that's been playing in Cat's head of late, because he really has he had those monster games that earned him the Player of the Week honors, and he's been questionable with what is it, a forearm or something with his his arm, but he's playing and he looks fine. So I guess over or pass for me. I mean, you really tend to want to play Phoenix Suns game to the under because they're so fundamentally sound defensively. But again, the way Minnesota pushes tempo and how impressive Towns has been of late, and the fact that you do not have Paul to control tempo, I think it does lend itself to over or pass.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Merrill, you see anything regarding Towns? Is he going? Is he still questionable? I guess that's probably something we got to answer as well before we start racking up a whole lot of points here for the Minnesota Timberwolves. If that's the case, give me DeAndre Ayton's point total over all day long. But what do you think here, Merrill? It is a lot of points for a Phoenix Suns team. They're certainly capable. Do you buy it? Is it over or not for you here in this one?
Yeah, as of 4:30 Eastern, Karl Anthony Towns is still questionable with the right forearm contusion. So 50-50. I'm not sure how useful that is for us. I'm not going to be playing this total tonight because it's very hard for me not to play Minnesota games over. And Phoenix has been on a nice overrun here, 5 of their last 6, I believe, in all games. But I will point out some reasons that give me pause and why you could actually look at the under. And as I've said many times, one of the best bets in all of basketball this year has been Minnesota over on the road. That's now 27-10 to the over this season. But the T-Wolves have been much lower scoring, much better defensively at home. In fact, 19-16 to the under at home. And it's the same thing with the Suns. The Suns are 21-16 over on the road. They're 18-16. I'm sorry, at home. They're 18-16 under on the road. So the home road dichotomies do give you some pause here in this one. And it's not a fluke that Minnesota's been a much, much more under team at home this year. NBA teams on average give up about 46% shooting from the field. Minnesota's given up like 47 or 48, I believe, on the road. At home, they're giving up less than 43% field goal defense. It's one of the best in the league. They're giving up at least 10-plus points less at home. And I think this is a high-profile game for them tonight, hosting Phoenix, the defending Western Conference champs. So I do think they'll bring their A-game defensive intensity. So I'll actually kind of buck the old Minnesota high total over trend here. And if I was to play this, which I'm not, if I was to play it, I'd actually lean under for those reasons.
It's hard to sweat out an under in a Minnesota Timberwolves game here, Tony Finn. So what are you thinking here? Karl Anthony Towns? No Karl Anthony Towns? Does it matter? Is it just over or not for you?
Well, without Anthony Towns this year, Minnesota's about 4 points less in a net rating, 6 points less offensively. So rather than their 114 offensive rating without Towns, they're a 108.7 efficiency rating. So that's it. Some people say, well, only 4 points. Well, what if they, this and that? Well, 4 points. Listen, we all know, the 4 of us know that half points, hell, quarter points, if they had them, make a huge difference to us. So it makes a difference. The Suns, again, I mentioned already, they've learned to kind of play without Paul. And right now, Paul, and listen, Steve said it all. He really, that's what Paul does. The Suns play less possessions when Paul's controlling the ball, not turning it over, making good decisions. They play a little slower, a little more deliberate, technically sound both offensively and defensively. They're not the best. Actually, they hit the boards pretty hard. They're not the best in transition defense, but this is the best team in the league right now. I don't care what anybody says, and they're the best team in the league because of the pieces they have to go along with their stars, with Paul. With all of those all-stars that they should be, Booker and Ayton will eventually be an all-star, I think. But that said, I like the over, Joe. I like the over because they're playing without Paul. They're playing at temp. They're playing at pace. I mean, they have the number 1 offensive efficiency rating in the league over the last 2 weeks. I think they have the number 3 since Paul went down. So we're talking about a $124 and change offensive efficiency. And at the same time, they're still defending too. And part of being a good defensive team is getting a lead and having your opponent make some bad decisions, some shots, et cetera, et cetera. So give me the over. I like the over. I'd love to play the Suns. I like the Suns tonight. However, they're playing for nothing. They're playing for nothing. They got a 10-game lead in the West. There's no chance in the world that whoever wins the East can catch them even. So even if the Suns lost every single game from here to the finale of the regular season. So that's my concern. It's hard for me to push across the counter, guys, when a team's playing for nothing. And I mean, a lot of times I can do it. I can do it because the team's going to play loose, but not the Suns because they're going to start doing some load management. Don't you agree?
I agreed with the over 20 minutes ago, but you just kept going on there. Then you were hard getting across the counter. I didn't know where the hell you were going.
Yeah, and
we
Joe,
had the fairy dust thrown in everything. Holy
we got
I like the
Lord,
Suns
guest
here.
also,
I like
he
the
keeps
over.
giving me
I
credit for
do.
stuff Tony
I
Mejia
want to play the
says.
Suns.
Tony Mejia
to
made
play
the Chris
Suns.
Paul comment. I can't steal that thought, Tony.
Yes, no, that's great. It was Tony Mejia, not Steve Merrill. But you know what? Tomato, tomato. What's the difference? Let's check out the dogs here tonight because we do have a few of them, Robert. What do we got rolling?
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right, let's take a look. A lot of different places on the board. The dogs could be barking tonight. We got the Pistons, Kings, Knicks, the Golden State Warriors, the Grizz, the Jazz in Boston, the OKC Thunder. Why is Orlando a favorite? Timberwolves, the Rockets, the Lakers, and of course, the Portland Trailblazers. There is a whole lot of ugly on this board, Steve Merrill. Start us off. Tell me, which one of these would you make your dog tonight?
There's a lot of ugly, but whenever I get two ugly teams, I usually like to lean towards the dog, and I think Sacramento plus the points fits that mold here tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern at Indiana. I'm in no hurry to lay more than 2 baskets with an Indiana Pacer team that's 25-47 on the season. That's actually only a half game better than the Kings in the overall standings. And we look at the recent schedule. Indiana's off back-to-back wins, mighty wins against the Rockets and the Blazers, who, no offense to our producer Robert back in the studio, those are two of the worst teams in the league. And don't let Portland win against Detroit. I knew that was coming.
That was coming.
We'll talk about
Absolutely.
Portland instead. I don't think we have any Trailblazer lovers here. Portland got that win against the Detroit Pistons. That was the first time the Pistons had been favored in over a month and a half, and they lost outright. So I'm not giving Portland too much credit for that either. Sacramento, though, off back 3 straight losses against Milwaukee, Boston, and Phoenix. They beat the Bulls. They played the Jazz and the Nuggets before that. That's their last 6 games. This is a huge step down in class for Sacramento in a very winnable game. So I'll look at the Kings plus the 4.5 plus 5 tonight as my dog.
All right. Love it. There you go. Kings it is. Talk to me here, Tony, Finn. Which one of these dogs you're going to make your own tonight?
Well, one of the reasons I kind of was going on and on about the Suns is that because they're playing for nothing, my dog is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Ooh.
And I'm waiting for you to convince me or talk me out of the Timberwolves and on the Suns, but no need. Wolves, I had them, for instance, if Patrick Beverly hits a free throw with 2.5 seconds left, would have been what? Would have been Monday night in Dallas. They were a small dog there, 2-point dog, so I push, or I would have had the win in that game. Would have been pretty good for me, too. I would have taken it. I'll take it anywhere I can get. But they're 10-0 straight up against the spread. They lost in Dallas on Monday night. Some people lost, actually. Some people had the Wolves or had Dallas. It depends on the number you had because it kind of fluctuated between 2.5 and 2. But this Red Hot Suns team clearly playing well. Chris Paul, without Chris Paul, with Chris Paul in the stands, with Chris Paul's mother on the phone. They're playing well. 5-0 straight up, 4-1 run. And they're doing it without Cam Johnson, which I find amazing because Cam Johnson is such an important piece to this puzzle. He stretches the defense, et cetera, et cetera. But he's been out, I don't know how many games now, 8, 9, going on 10. They are averaging 100, and I had mentioned it, 129.1 points per 100 possessions. That's what they're doing over that 5-game run. That's more than a little less than 2 weeks. So give me the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns will play, guys. He'll be in. He's been on this list for 3 days. Karl plays. Minnesota wins. They need to win. The Suns are playing for nothing. They go home happy because the Twinkies get a win. Is that okay? Anything?
With the Twinkies?
Sorry. Are we up?
Did we switch the
all right. Woo! Where were we? Tony Mejia, I think.
I missed the
Tony,
bus.
wow, what was that? Woo!
Hour nap.
4 hours of Suns breakdown. Holy shit. Tony Mejia, talk to us. Where are you going here tonight?
Down on me.
I love Tony Findler, but he has baseball on the brain, obviously. And We'll
And
stick
all in the
to
brain.
the NBA. A terrible spot for the Atlanta Hawks tonight. So I'm going to make my boys in the Detroit office happy and think that their Pistons might win outright. It's my free play at wt.buzz/TM, so you can read the write-up there. I added it as just a free play, and then I said, you know what, I like it enough to make it a client play. So here's a free client play for everybody. Fourth game in 6 nights for the Hawks, coming off of Trae Young going for 45 last night. Bogdan Bogdanovic was a true game-time decision last night, given that workload that they've had. John Collins is out for a few weeks until he's reevaluated with multiple injuries that he's got. And after this one, they've got the Warriors at home. So it's a classic look-ahead spot as well. Not to mention, let's just get back home. And even that Knicks game last night looked like it was going to be a lost cause until that late push. Whereas Detroit been playing a little better of late. You know, they've had some awful competition, and 2 of their last 3 games were the Magic and the Trailblazers. But tonight, Jeremy Grantl's suit up. Cade Cunningham is obviously playing, and they're going to be loaded and making plays. Sadiq Bey has been really solid of late. So I'll go ahead and take the points. It was 5.5 when I wrote it up late last night. It's at 5, 4.5 even right now. But I still think Detroit is the side. Maybe Trae Young rescues it late, but I like Detroit to cover the number against Atlanta as my dog.
All right, good stuff there, dog. It is, and now.
Oh, and one quick thing.
Go ahead.
In road back-to-back situations, that being that both games are on the road on back-to-back nights,
Right.
Hawks haven't been in this situation since early November and 0-2 on the season.
Wow. All right, good stuff there, actually. See, that's how you do it, Tony Finn. Let's talk of best bets. Let's go, Robert. All right. Yes, it is best bet time. 60 seconds on the clock. Before we get to you, Tony Finn, if your best bet is on Minnesota and Phoenix, tell us now, and we'll put it out there, and that'll be it. Because I can't handle any more fucking breakout with Phoenix
I haven't
and
decided,
Minnesota. Are we done?
You're gonna have to suffer.
All right, good.
You're gonna have to suffer.
Very good. Steve Merrill, 60 seconds on the clock, brother. Show them how it's done. Give us a best bet tonight.
Yeah, going to look at the best bet in the NBA here for Wednesday night. Just a quick reminder, NBA has been just red hot the past 10.5 months. Number 1 at WagerTalk.com and units won on NBA sides. 110 units won, going 101 and 66. I've got another strong best bet tonight for Wednesday in the NBA, a side selection. Also 3 Sweet 16 Thursday best bets. Also have a 5% tournament best bet, the first this year. Huge card, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Game that just missed the cut, but I think is worth a look, is the Charlotte Hornets minus the 8.5. This line opened 6. Julius Randle is doubtful, expected to miss tonight. It's now 8.5. Hornets red hot. They've won 5 straight. They're covered 4 of the 5. They're not going to overlook the Knicks, who were 2-10 straight up at ATS until those 7 straight spread covers. Well, guess what? They've regressed back to their losing ways. 0-3 ATS the last 3. They did not cover and lost without Randle against Atlanta. Last night, no rest situation. It gets no better this evening. Take the Charlotte Hornets minus 8.5 and get all of those strong best bets, including a huge 5%er. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Boom! Nothing but net. Can't bet the Knicks anymore. You just can't do it here. Tony Finn, 60 seconds, man. Go ahead, tell us how much you like Minnesota.
Well, I'm gonna disappoint you again, and I'm gonna move on to another game now, so I can spend a little more than 1 minute. Let's get down. Let me get down to like 30 seconds before I get to the game. No, let's get to it. Boston's my best bet.
Ooh.
Back in the Garden after a 4-game trek to the West Coast, a 4-game series. They just happen to sweep, go 3-1 against the spread. They quietly continue to be, I think, the best team, balanced team, overall team in the East. Well, despite the fact that they're kind of sitting in the middle of that standings for the playoffs, who knows? Next week we could have all 4 of the top 5 teams, whatever it is, all have the same record. But the Jazz, they got some issues, some personnel issues. Perimeter shooting offense, 3-point shooting offense. It runs the opposing team off the 3-point line. Boston doesn't shoot threes. They'll mid-range. Give me Boston minus point.
Very good. Tony Mejia.
And Phoenix, too. And Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, Phoenix and
Don't
Minnesota.
count the shot
on
after the buzzer.
Yeah,
Don't count
that's
it.
a good point. Again, we get a whistle, please. Talk to me here, Mejia. 60 seconds. Where are you going, brother?
All right, I am going to that Sacramento, Indiana game, and I guess I'm going to neuter Steve Merrill's dog, and apparently he's on the trail because I'm the sides leader for the regular season on this season, so he's going back 10 months. That means he's going back into the playoffs, which does mean that he has me on that. But yeah, I'm on a 72-42 side run on the season and over 111 units for the regular season on sides. And I'm going to stick with the side, going with the Tyrese Halliburton revenge game. He did not like being traded out of Sacramento. Thought he was going to be part of a big deal there, and was dealt away for Domantas Sabonis, who won't play tonight. Neither will De'Aaron Fox. So neither will Rashawn Holmes. The Kings are down 3 key players. I think Halliburton gets his team up to snuff tonight to cover against Sacramento, lay the points with Indiana.
Wow. Damn. 9 extra seconds there, Tony. You want to give us a little extra nugget on Minnesota and Phoenix, yeah. Finn? You good? Okay, good. Yeah. We're good. Here we go. Still got it. It's still rolling. Good.
We're 12-3 in college basketball. 22-7 last 29 spread play. So join me tonight. Join me this weekend.
Take advantage of it, damn it. That is what I am talking about. All right, let's recap it if we can, just so you guys can see if you're just joining us or just woke up from Tony's breakdown of the Suns and Timberwolves. We have Tony Mejia. His dog tonight is going to be the Pistons. They are barking right now. Meanwhile, his best bet, he's doing a little neutering here with Steve Merrill. He's going Pacers, laying the 5, while Tony Finn, I think, and if Will figured this out, God bless you, I believe his dog is the Timberwolves, although he might have been sniffing the Suns' ass. I'm not sure what's going on there. But the Celtics definitely -4.5 is the best bet. Merrill, Kings it is, +5. We got a head-to-head there. And his best bet, though, is the Hornets. Just fade the Knicks. Lay the 8.5. And the contrarian gods say, don't be fooled twice. Warriors. +9.5, taking on the Miami Heat. And don't forget, you heard Steve Merrill, you heard Tony Finn talk about his 5% best bet. NIT tonight, guys. You can hop on over there, grab that play. Mejia crushing it, not only in college hoops here, guys, but the NBA. All 3 of these gentlemen locked, loaded for what is going to be a huge, and I mean huge, couple of days here on the hardwood, both NBA and college. Take advantage of it now. Visit Tony Mejia, Tony Finn, and Steve Merrill right now over at WagerTalk.com. Hit the bell in the upper right-hand corner. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. We're in the home stretch of the regular season here in the NBA. A lot of these games matters to a number of teams, so we've got you covered until tomorrow. On behalf of the Tony brothers there, Mejia and Finn, Steve Merrill, guys, we appreciate the time. Best of luck with your plays tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck.
Embiid, Harden.
Yes, there will be baseball. After a 99-day lockout, we now have a complete 162-game schedule starting with opening day on April 7th. To celebrate the return of baseball, we want to do a wow promotion, so here we go. The first 50 customers will get the full season of MLB, including the playoffs, for just over $3 per day. How much of a wow is this? MLB through the All-Star break is priced at $7.95, and through the World Series is priced at $1,095. But the first 50 customers can get MLB through the World Series for $6.99. No coupon is needed, and this comes out to just over $3 per day. Once we hit 50 redemptions, the super early bird discount will come down, and the lowest possible price to lock in baseball will no longer be available. So act fast before you get shut out on our biggest price drop ever.